What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to go over a rumor about the Scream 7 filming schedule or when it would happen. And the rumor, will just kind of cut right to the chase. The rumor is 2024. Now, we'll read where this comes from. I don't know this individual on Twitter. A quick little search, though, of their account. The most recent thing, Freaky Friday, how, it's getting a sequel. They had said that there was talks that it was going to happen and that they were maybe in discussions all the way back in January. So even just scrolling on their Twitter for like 10, 15 seconds, you can find at least one thing that they had, some sort of advantage on that they knew ahead of time, right? So I don't know. I don't know if to believe it, to not believe it. I know Critical Overlord had, I think, made a video on this as well. So I don't know if he trusts it or not. I know I trust him. So we'll see what happens. It's definitely believable. So let's read this little thread and then we'll talk about it. There were some expectations that Scream 7 could still shoot before the end of the year, but that's no longer the case. Early to middle of next year is more likely. Why? Not because of Jenna Ortega, but because of the writer's strike. Radio Silence and Melissa Barrera are about to shoot an already completed script at Universal. When the strike is over, Jasmine Savoy Brown is off to do Yellow Jackets Season 3, and obviously Jenna is occupied. I'm told Yellow Jackets Season 3's writers' room barely got started before the strike, but also Jasmine is obligated to shoot it over Scream 7 if there are scheduling conflicts. So that's an issue as well. Yet another reason Scream 7 is forced to hit the brakes unless something changes. So there you go, a little bit more information. It's not unbelievable. I think I'm not into like Yellow Jackets. I don't know like anything literally about it, but I do remember seeing something as part of this strike. Maybe I also saw the writer saying, did they get like 1 day in the writer's room for season 3? Now they say they were told that. I think we were all told that. So I don't know, see, that makes me a little skeptical kind of right off the bat when you're saying something like that. And it's like, well, I thought that was like a public statement that they wrote the script for like 1 or 2 days and then the strike happened, they had to all leave. So we'll see about that, but it does sound believable. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt, and we've talked about it here and there. The Jasmine thing obviously being a little bit separate. I would say I wonder why she or like in the contract or whatever that you have to do Yellow Jackets over Scream. I imagine because it's a more prominent role in Yellow Jackets versus Scream, even though I would argue Scream's the bigger thing. Although yet again, Yellow Jackets blowing up as a TV series, so maybe they're more equal, or maybe actually Yellow Jackets is bigger. I don't really know. I also don't really care. But next year, so early to middle next year. Now, if you just go based off of, and we've said this for like Scream 5, Scream 5's hard to kind of go based off the history, right? Because they filmed it so early, and then they finished it, but then they sat on it. They sat on it for an extremely long time. I think 6 is probably the better thing to look at when they filmed, right? June through like September, early September, and then the movie comes out in March. So 6 months from when it ended, it came out. I think that's the better historical thing to look at in regards to it here. So if they were to film this thing, if you literally go at the very beginning of the year, maybe a less optimistic person wouldn't do that, right? Maybe you want to say maybe like a March, April, May thing, and then you do 6 months later. I mean, it is possible the movie releases in 2024, but it would be extremely, extremely late. Now, that's not uncommon for Scream 1 and 2, right? To release in December. Maybe that's when Scream 7 could come out sometime in December. But, the more that gets pushed, it seems like November, December of next year, that's maybe the earliest that Scream 7 comes out. Then maybe you start to go into 2025. By the way, when I say this, because I've gotten a lot of comments, I'm not like against them slowing down. Like I do think slowing down is maybe even the right move. I mean, from like a selfish point of view, I want these movies to continue. I want them, I guess, as quickly as we can get them. But I mean, I'm totally, if they need to slow down. But at the same time, it's not really their choice, right? Like slowing down, and this is something that we talk about, right? The idea of was 5, Nev's true ending, and while Jenna doesn't have to be in 7 because 6 was like that, the same kind of mentality I have for that is the same mentality I have for this. They didn't want to slow down. Like the writer's strike slowed them down and actors' availability slowed them down. So I think if it was up to them, the movie would probably release like around now next year. That is probably like their ideal want. and it's not going to happen. And that's but that's not their plan. That's not what they had assumed was going to happen. Now, I will also say though, losing Mindy is definitely not as big of a deal as losing Jenna. I mean, it really just comes down to importance, and same thing I said for the, Jenna thing, I would say here, yes, obviously I want all of them together, but like if you're picking, and like if Jenna is like say busy for the next like 3 years, but she's got like a couple months, but those months interfere with Jasmine's filming, well, I think we all know the choice you have to make. Character wise, maybe you like Mindy more than Tara. To be honest, I don't see many people that have ever said that, period, but maybe there are those people. But I just think you have to go for the star power. I think you would play favorites and you would just pick, the biggest people that are available. So we'll see what happens. I guess we have a wait, and I got more ranking lists that I can definitely come up with, and I guess we'll have to go into that, right? But I got a couple ideas going back in time to the Scream franchise that looks like we'll have to do, because probably until this writer's strike is over, which God knows how long that goes on till, we probably won't get any info at all for Scream 7. So it may be a while before we even start hearing things. Rumors, of course, and I love rumors. I love covering them, but there's where we're at. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.